Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do for you guys a PCOS and infertility update, as well as like a life update of what's been going on these last 2 weeks. So if you want to know what's been going on for real and the full entirety, stay tuned. Alright you guys, so first of all, let me start off by saying that this video will be posted on both Fearless Fatgirl and It's a Garrett Thing. Just because I did end up taking a break on It's a Garrett Thing from my daily vlogging, and I wasn't able to upload every day just because a lot was going on, and I want to let you guys know that I found my vlog channel why I took that break and what's been going on, as well as my Fearless Fatgirl channel, just because that's where I usually post these videos. Yeah, let's just go ahead and move right into the whole situation. So I'm not sure if I mentioned in the past that I was gonna have a PAP then. And it was just a regular routine PAP, nothing special, no reason why, it was just a routine PAP that I had to go to. I went for my PAP. This was, I'm sure I talked to you guys about it because this was when the gastric bypass was, you know, talked to me about and was kind of pushed on me. Yeah, so a week or so after my PAP came back, I ended up getting a call from my doctor saying that there was something abnormal in my PAP, that I needed to go ahead and set up an appointment to get a colposcopy done. So a colposcopy is pretty much, and I have notes down here, so if I look down, that's why. But a colposcopy is a procedure to closely examine the cervix, you guys. So it just checks for signs of disease, and if while they're doing the colposcopy, if they see abnormal cells, they go ahead and do a biopsy on those cells just to make sure they're not cancerous. So that's what I had to set up to do. I didn't really think too much of it. I didn't like let myself get, you know, too freaked out about the whole cancer thing then. I just knew that I had to get another test done just to be careful and be aware of what's going on down there. So I went ahead and set that appointment up. My appointment came up, that was literally 2 weeks ago, on Wednesday 2 weeks ago. And so for my colposcopy, my husband was not able to go with me. He did have to work and he wasn't able to get the days off. So I was already a little bit stressed about that. My mom was able to go with me, which was good because she just really, I just needed that comfort from somebody, and I'm glad she was there with me. So she went with me. So at my appointment, I walked in. I just kind of want to tell you guys how the procedure went. So I walked in and talked to my doctor. She kind of let me know what's going on. She explained the procedure to me again, that it was a little camera that was going to be inserted that was going to just take a closer look to see if there was cells growing, if there were really the cells that were growing on the cervix and the uterus, and if for any reason they were cells that were growing on the uterus, that she was going to be having to do a biopsy on those cells just to make sure they weren't cancerous. So before she started the procedure, I kind of just asked questions. One of my main questions is always talking about infertility and just what if. I always go to the what ifs. So I kind of asked, you know, if they are cancer, like what are the next steps? And she said, well, it depends on where the cancer is located. You could either we would have to do different procedures. It is going to be more difficult to have children. And she didn't really say, no, you'll never have children, but I kind of felt like that's where it was leading to. She also mentioned to me that while they had done the PAP, that I think it was my cervix or my uterus, I believe it's my uterus, seemed to be swollen. So my uterus walls were swollen or something like that. And she said that that could probably indicate that, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. But she said that could probably indicate that I have endometriosis. So again, I've heard of endometriosis before, and it was just like a lot of information once again was coming towards me. And the number one thing that kept running through the back of my mind was, I'm never gonna have children. I'm not gonna be able to have children, and I'm gonna end up having cancer. Like the worst thing is gonna happen, and that's gonna be that. So I was just freaking out, just going crazy in my mind. After the doctor talked to me for a little bit, we began the procedure. Pretty much all you do is lay down. It's kind of like a PAP, but it's a little bit more invasive, so you do feel pressure. For me, it was really painful, not necessarily like stabbing pain, but just a lot of pressure that to me it did end up being painful. I don't know. I also began crying. Like I said, this is completely being honest with you guys. I did begin crying, and I don't know if it was because of the pain or because of the fact that I was just going through so many different emotions, wondering what if I did have cancer, what if I'm never really gonna have children. Like, I had a lot of things going on through my mind. I feel like my voice is starting to leave me, so I am sorry if it starts to squeak or whatever. Let's get it together. But so she said what she had to do when she started the procedure. She was having a hard time holding like the clamps open or whatever. It kept sliding, the tools kept sliding. So I think that's another reason why it was painful, because she had to apply extra pressure to it. But it was a mess, y'all. They ended up putting this little gel type thing inside my cervix, and she did see some cells, so they did have to do a biopsy on those cells. After the procedure, I just laid there for a couple of minutes, and then I was released. When I was released, on the way out, I do have some clips that maybe I'll insert in here of before and after the procedure. I don't have any of inside the actual doctor's office, but at least you guys get to see the before and after. Hey guys, so I'm on my way to my doctor's appointment today. I have a procedure that I have to get done at the OBGYN. So we'll see how it goes. I just had the procedure done. It was so painful, I cried because it just hurt so bad. I'll let you guys know exactly what's going on once I get home. Okay guys, I'm in pain, like, it's like so intense that it's making me cry. So I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys, but I had I didn't know if I was going to talk to you guys about it or not, just because it is a lot. It's real personal. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the results are going to be. So I didn't know if I was going to open up about it just yet. But when I had, I'm sure you guys remember, but when I had my pap smear, it came back abnormal. So something, I don't know what exactly was wrong with it, but something's wrong with my pap smear. So they set me up for a colposcopy or something like that. I'll obviously leave the name down below, but they set me up for one of those. So I came in today, and it's just really overwhelming, because they're talking about like this whole procedure is to make sure that I don't have any cancerous cells, or and it's just, when it comes to talking about cancer, it's just overwhelming. But I'm gonna sit down and talk to you guys a little bit more once I get back to the house. Okay, after the procedure, I ended up going back to my mom's house. On the drive home, a lot of the bumps on the road were really hurting me. Like, I would feel a lot of pressure down there. So I just wanted to rest. So I was feeling a lot of pressures while we were driving, so I decided just to go to my mom's store, and I just waited there for my husband to get off, because he was gonna get off a couple of like an hour later or 30 minutes later. So yeah, I waited for my husband to get off. When my husband got off, me and my husband just weren't seeing eye to eye, because I had a lot of emotions going on that we were just bickering back and forth, because I did not know how to express myself. That's just a simple fact of what happened. I went ahead and went to my best friend's house instead of just being with my husband, just because I knew that I'd be able to talk to her a little bit more. At my best friend's house, I sat there. We were together for a few hours, and we talked and talked and talked. We cried together. It was like the best type of therapy I could have used at that time. Like I said, I was going through a lot of emotions, you guys. And I'm always completely honest with you guys. At that point in time, I was thinking, if I do have cancer, my husband's not going to want to stay with me. There's no way he's going to want to be with me. He shouldn't be with me. Like, he doesn't deserve to go through that. He doesn't deserve to be in a relationship where he's never going to have children and never going to be able to experience that. Those were just my thoughts. I even talked to my best friend about, like, I should just get a divorce, like, let my husband go on and have like the family that he wants to have. And she kind of just calmed me down and told me everything was going to be fine, just not to go too extreme without knowing what the results were. So I love her to death. Shout out to Myra. that's my bestie, that's my bestie, that's my bestie. And I love her. So after all this was done and over with, a few hours later, I ended up coming home. I did talk to my husband. I explained to him what was going on, my emotions, everything. And he reassured me that, you know, he's going to be with me and I love him and I'm so blessed to have him, that, you know, he's going to be my ride or die pretty much. So that just kind of like made my heart feel so much better to know that he's going to be there with me every step of the way and that he appreciates, that he loves me pretty much. So that was that. Moving on to the results. So 3 days after the procedure, I began to experience what I thought was my cycle. So I was cramping, I started bleeding. 2 days after bleeding, spotting, and actually, I began to have excessive bleeding, like a horror movie, like super bad bleeding, red blood, like bright red blood, and I freaked the hell out. I started like, what's going on? Like, what's going on with my body? Like, is this part of that test or what's happening? So I emailed my doctor, and she kind of emailed me the next morning because I was also having a lot of clots. She kind of just told me, well, this is what we found out from your procedure. You do have overstimulated, your uterus are overstimulated, therefore you are making not enough progesterone to control it or counterbalance it. So I'm making a lot of estrogen, I think she said, and that's why all of a sudden I'll begin to bleed a lot and I begin to have a lot of clots. I was like, okay. So, and she also said that I have, in the email, she also said I had like mild dysplasia. Well, she said it was 1 and 2 grade precancer. Of course, I heard precancer and I freaked the hell out. I was like, I have to make a doctor's appointment. I need to know what's going on, what's happening with my body. Am I gonna die? Do I have cancer? Is it gonna come nice? Like, I had a million questions, you guys, and I needed an answer. Tried to Google stuff and I wasn't able to get exactly what I needed. I ended up making another doctor's appointment. I do have that doctor's appointment vlogged. My husband did vlog it for me, and it is on my vlog channel. That should be up before this video. So if you guys want to see that, I will link it down below, or you can always just check out my It's a Garrett Thing vlog channel. But you guys will get more in depth of exactly what she said. She ended up giving me this little pamphlet at the doctor's appointment, and what she pretty much said is that, I'm gonna try to show you guys if you guys don't want to look at that vlog, but you guys can hear it from her on that vlog. But she said these, hopefully it's not too bright, but these are what normal cells look like, and that's just the normal cells in the uterus. So this is where the pre-cancer cells are for me. What I am in between this and this. So as you guys can see, my cells are like this. They're like this. They're supposed to be like this, but they're not. They're like this. And then these are cancer cells. So I am in between these two. What she told me was that my body was just, that they're gonna just let it sit, and in 3 months I'm gonna have another pap done. If the pap comes back normal and everything's okay, then I'll be fine. She said that a lot of the times the body will just handle it itself, that it'll just, you know, normalize itself, and no procedures would be done additionally. And if for any reason there was additional procedures that needed to be done, or the cells grew more, or whatever the case was, I was gonna have to get the LEAP procedure done. I don't know if the LEAP procedure is in here. Oh yes, it is. So what the LEAP procedure is where they go in. Of course, this is all magnified, but they go in and they clip the cells that are still growing, and by clipping them, they will get rid of those abnormal cells so they can't turn into cancer. But that's pretty much what they do. And you guys can always Google all this stuff. This is just the information she told me. Again, this stuff is in that vlog, just to hear it from her, to know exactly what she said. But yeah, that's kind of, she explained it to me, I kind of understood it, and I was really thankful I went in for that appointment because I just needed answers. I was put on Provera for my progesterone imbalance, I guess you can say. So we're gonna start that next week, well, Monday, which is like in 2 days, and we should be able to start that, and hopefully that helps too. I'm excited, nervous. I'm just really happy I finally have answers to what's been going on with my body. It's a very scary procedure. Well, not necessarily procedure, but a scary process as far as what's happening with, you know, all that stuff down there. And it's just been a crazy experience and journey so far. And appreciate all of you guys' prayers that, you know, it doesn't turn into cancer and that it just kind of heals itself. And hopefully God will, you know, guide me and put me in the right place and put me where I need to be. But yeah, that's what's going on with the doctor situation. Side note, aside from that, as you guys can see, I no longer have green hair. I still have tints of green. You guys can see that somewhere in there. I did start a full-time job. With all this going on, I needed to get myself out of the house because I was driving myself crazy. I was constantly thinking, what if I have cancer? You know, what's gonna happen next? Constantly thinking negative stuff. So I had to step out of, you know, being home and working from home because it didn't give me that freedom of not having to think about anything. So I did start a job last Monday. I've been there for a week now, and it is a 9 to 5 job, and I love it. It's definitely very fast paced. It is in a medical facility, and it's in the medical field, and I'm just excited to be outside of my mind for a couple of hours a day and be able to focus on other things and learn other things and not focus so much on this part of my life. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I hope it was informative. I hope it wasn't too long because you guys know that I like to talk a lot. And hopefully I got down to the point of what's been going on. But I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.